Here we are again, and we're trying to get ourselves up to 8,000 interviews on Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is JDavis, and I haven't done all the 7,000 plus interviews, but I'm quite excited. I enjoy talking to entrepreneurs. I love their stories. That's what this whole show is about. It's the stories of leadership and entrepreneurship. Our next guest is Megan Lanham, a CEO and co-founder of Rithmm. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jeffrey.
Well, Rithmm is used in many different ways. Why don't you talk about how you use Rithmm?
For sure. Rithmm is a sports betting predictive analytics tool that uses AI on the back end. And on the front end, the user or the bettor will basically take their instincts, input those into our algorithm very simply. And within a minute, we'll have a line of predicted games with, an edge, win probability, what games to bet on, what games to stay away, a prediction of the actual score, and then many other features. But in the short version is we're a predictive analytics site for sports bettors.
Wow. Well, how did you get into this? What's your background?
Yeah, I started out coaching women's basketball. So right out of college, I played in college, then I went right into coaching, and I found I loved it. I had a great run. I coached for over a decade at many different Division I schools. Spent a lot of my time in Indiana State, and then I finally, just felt the need to explore something different. So I left the coaching world and went in right into a startup that I knew nothing about. It was a life science staffing startup with a founder that had a really innovative idea in a very kind of archaic space. And I was interested in that. I thought that was cool. And so I joined the company, became a joiner, not a founder, helped build the company, sold it to a private equity firm for a successful sale. Then the founder left. I became the CEO. That was the succession plan. Helped build that company to a conglomerate, and then sold that company again to the Pritzker organization out of Chicago. And then during this time, I also went to MIT. And I really thought I needed more analytical training. So I went to school to get my MBA, and that's where Rithmm was born. I was sitting in a data models and decisions class doing predictive analytics for companies, and imagine doing stock trading or other industries that use a lot of predictive analytics. And I thought, this is an amazing tool. This should be being utilized in sports betting. Oh, it is, but it's only being utilized by professional bettors. So how do we take something that's incredibly complex, simplify it, make it fun, entertaining, and also very useful, and bring it to kind of the mainstream bettors? And so that's how Rithmm was born. That's how I got here. And it was a good mix of like playing basketball and coaching basketball. I was incredibly into statistics and making decisions around statistics, and then using that obviously in my other businesses, and then going to MIT and actually having a framework to understand it further.
Wow, kind of an interesting journey.
Yeah.
I understand the leadership aspects of coaching and sports, but if I would have said to you 5-6 years ago that you were going to be an entrepreneur, what would you have said to me?
6 years ago, no, that was not on my radar. I love building. Obviously, helped build a lot of programs, and then built this startup. When I joined that company, there were 6 of us in a basement, just sharing desks and trying to make something happen. And then scaling that company was really fun. However, then becoming a CEO and running 2 portfolios in a conglomerate, no, I wouldn't have thought I would be doing this.
So, I assume yours is a field that's getting quite cluttered. What differentiates your business?
Yeah, there's obviously this market is just, the expansion of the market is just absolutely enormous. So certainly people will be running to it. What separates us is that And what I found very interesting is when I started doing research around predictive analytics and who's using it, I noticed a really large white space. So bettors they can buy picks. So there's touts, and there's tons of pick sites. They can ask their friends, who do you have tonight? They can do a ton of research. There are obviously media, there's content now just producing picks, but it's in a black box. You don't know how these people come up with this. You have no idea, did they actually win last week or not, for the most part. So what separates us is twofold. It's we're not just giving you picks. Like, we feel like those days are going to be long gone, and that people will want more say in how this works. And so what we do is we allow you, the user, to come in and give us your instincts. So if you've been watching basketball, you've been betting on basketball, you've been a fan of basketball, played it, coached it, whatever, you have some gut feelings and instincts about what makes a team go. So we take those instincts. So let's say you're like, I think high offense and high tempo teams, those teams seem to win a lot, or there's something about those teams that you like the way they play. We take that because it's very easy. We just say, hey, here's some sliders with some factors, slide it over. If you think offense is important, slide it to the right. Once you do that and you go through the series of a couple sliders and give us those important pieces, we take that information, put it in our algorithm, and then create a recommended pick. That's very different than what other people are doing. So there's a personalization factor here. And it's customized. It's not just like emailing somebody, hey, I want your picks tonight, I'll pay you $500. This is a very different ballgame.
So let's cross into a different aspect, gambling in sports. I assume you're a supporter of gambling in sports, and I'll ask you why. Why do you think it's better that it's now legal?
Yeah, I love it. I obviously didn't do it when I was coaching, and then I got out and I didn't understand really what was the appeal. But the appeal was, for me, and then obviously this is pretty mass appeal. It's not groundbreaking here, but I do not like watching NBA. I liked watching basketball. I did not like watching the NBA. I was bummed out about that. But if I had if I had skin in the game, then I was excited to watch the NBA. And that was my first inkling of, oh, I see. So this is like what I call competitive entertainment, or and there's a coin term out there now. And it's for people that want skin in the game and obviously would like to have some profitability around that. And so that's kind of what I find is exciting, is that it does give you a different sense. It's a different feeling of when you have some skin in the game. Your excitement level increases, your entertainment level increases. And those are things that I think are that I enjoy.
Well, I think that you drawing the comparison to excitement is interesting because people want to feel engaged and exciting way. Question is making sure that people set limits on it. We just saw an NHL hockey player lose half his season. He says he understands and that he was ignorant. He didn't know he did something wrong, but still lost half a season. That's probably a pretty expensive penalty.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of feelings around someone in that realm doing something like that. I mean, they obviously know.
There is no such thing as ignorance in front of the law.
Yeah, right. Come on. So yeah, there's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be edge cases. How we deal with that on Rithmm is that we have caution flags. So we don't need you betting every game. What we're trying to do is give you an edge and show you there's an edge in this game, and not just have you go bet on Alabama because you love Alabama. Maybe you shouldn't bet that game. Stay away from it. So we put caution flags up when we see something in the market that disagrees with the modeling that you get. You would build a model, let's say you name it high offense. You look on Saturday for all your high offense games, and you'll have a star for recommended where there's an edge, and you'll have a caution flag. And so this to us is responsible gambling. And this to us is more educated gambling, but still not stripping it down and taking away entertainment value and excitement. You're still in the game, but let's make sure you're in the games where you're not just in it on a whim.
I get it. Megan, it's all quite exciting, and you have to make me a promise that you'll come back again, and you'll deal with our producer, Jillian King, and schedule another time, because it's quite an interesting business and different than a lot of our clients. If someone's looking for you and Rithmm before that, how would they find you?
Yeah, it's very easy. You can go on, we're in the App Store. Just type in Rithmm, and it's Rithm, such as algorithm. And then you can go to Google Play, same thing, Rithm. And then you can go to rithmm.com, Rithm.com. So we have multiple places that you can find us. What we love is that we have an app on Apple, we have an app for Google, we have a web app if you like a desktop or a laptop. So we're really proud that we can offer the platform on 3 different places.
Well, again, everybody, we've been speaking with Megan Lanham, CEO and founder of Rithmm. My name is Jeffrey Davis. I'm the CEO and founder of Mage LLC, management consulting firm in Massachusetts. And we'll be back with more stories after this break on Radio Entrepreneurs.